All right. Hey, y'all, this is Stevie with Redneck Economics. Tonight, it's going to be pretty quick, of course. I'm late. I said I was going to be on at 9, but, I'm really bad at time management. So we're here now. Of course, everybody's talking about GameStop right now. So I'm going to say a few words on that and on Joe Manchin, because apparently he's going to be the big bad boogeyman that's going to screw things up now. Oh, hold on. Let me get over to YouTube. Make sure we're good over there. Give me just a sec. Yeah.
Are you on?
Yeah. All right. So we got Joe Nice DJ. Welcome. Good to see you. Let's see. All right. So we're good. All right. So let's start off with GameStop. Now, this is something I have been talking about for a while now. We need to learn basically how money works, because this stock markets is why everybody does what they do. Our ruling class, it's why they make the laws that they do. It's why why we can't get health care. It's all about increasing profit for shareholders, basically. So I thought this was amazing. I know everybody's losing their minds over it. Some in a good way, some not so much. But basically, what it's the subreddit Wall Street Bets, and what they did was, and I think his name's Daniel over there on Hardlands Media. He illustrated it pretty well today to where I could understand it, because like for the past 2 days I've been trying to figure it out. And basically what they do is they'll borrow money from or not money, but they'll borrow stocks from a shareholder or from an institution, right? They'll borrow the stocks, they'll sell it to these people, devalue it, right? Buy it back for real cheap. And then when the stock prices go back up, then they make profit. So hold on, let me look at my notes. So here's how he put it. There's an institution that owns the stocks. And then there's a person, an investor, that goes in and borrows the stocks from the institution, right? And he says, look, I'm going to, borrow these stocks for a little bit, and I'll pay you a fee for letting me borrow it. And so he'll take those, the way he described it was 100 stocks for $1 each. So you have $100 in shares. So then that borrower will sell those stocks off. Now the borrower has $100 and no stocks, but the borrower still has to give the 100 shares back eventually. So he'll wait for the stock to go down by devaluing. Like he'll sell, manipulate the news, like go on and say, oh, well, you need to sell right now because, the prices are dropping and all that. So he'll, manipulate people, create a panic or create a fear. So people start selling them off, makes the price go down. And then once the stock is devalued, they'll buy it back at a fraction of the price. Now they sold it for $1, but they'll buy it back for 10 cents. So they'll pay $10 to buy that same stock back. And then they'll give, that fee to the institution that they borrowed it from, and the shares back, and they'll make a profit of about $85 on it. So what Reddit did was they saw what they were doing. They saw that they were shorting GameStop stock. And so what they did was they prevented them, they blocked them basically. So they went in, and since the stock prices went up, the borrower was forced to buy back stocks at a higher price to pay back the institution. So they screwed over that middleman. So once they sold their stocks, they came in, bought up a bunch of the stocks, and made the prices go up, and now they were left empty-handed. Actually, worse than that, they had to actually pay some money out of their millions of dollars that they already have. But they're pissed off, right? They are pissed off that the commoner has come in and, you know, played their game and beat them at it. And now you've got, you know, these billionaires and millionaires that are out there, you know, crying about we need regulation. It's like, well, yeah, that's what we've been talking about since, I don't know, forever now. Uh, but it kind of goes back to what I was saying is like, you know, we need to be able to play on that field, which is why I'm trying to learn more about this because, yeah, it's a good slap on the wrist to them just to keep them in check. Yeah. So we got Michael Mathern's here. Yeah, yeah. You messaged me earlier about the about buying stocks in it. I'm not even sure. Can you still buy stocks in it? Because I know Robinhood and all these couple of them, Ameritrade, uh, said that you know they're actually selling people's stocks, which is highly illegal. Highly illegal. Not that that ever stops them, but you know, um, I mean, like that's crazy that they're selling their stocks. I mean, you think about it. Can you imagine going into your neighbor's yard and selling their car? Like that's what they did. Like they basically just sold somebody's, you know, stocks off that they didn't even own. They just stole it, sold it. I'm not even sure how that even works out. Yeah. I mean, but they're so rich and so powerful that they know that whatever they do, I mean, it's not like they're going to go to prison, right? I mean, so who we got? Michael's here. Steely Steve, yeah. Yes, yes. Round of applause to the Reddit folks screwing the hedge fund devils. Hell yeah. Oh, so you can't buy the GameStop stock until Monday. Now this is really interesting because GameStop basically, I mean, it's not a very profitable. I don't see that they're going to be. Now, Michael, you'll know more about this since you've been you know more about this than I do. Um, but the thing is now that everybody's buying into it, it's like, how does that affect the stock prices? Like now, I mean, because every time that there's news about these stocks, it changes the value of it, does it not? Like, I mean, just it's a pretty much a gauge for, you know, people's feelings, you know, when it comes to investing. So I'm wondering how's that going to pan out? And then later, because, you know, with the pandemic, a lot of people, you know, pandemic, a lot of people are, you know, buying their games and stuff online. So what does that mean for GameStop in the long run? So it's just interesting to see how this all, you know, works. But that's something for a later day. I'm just, you know, I'm just glad that, you know, the Redditors over there actually, you know, stuck a thumb in their eye over in Wall Street. It's just, it feels so good. I know, like, I know it's, it's a learning experience. Like, this is something that we can all look and say, look, huh, look, if these people aren't playing ball for us, maybe we can go in and make them listen. Oh, you don't want to pay a living wage? You don't want to give your workers health care? You don't, you want to go and buy off a senator or a congressman or a president? Well, I don't know. Maybe your stock value goes down all of a sudden. Just saying. That's the only thing they listen to. I mean, look, when all this was happening at the Capitol, and they were bringing up how the election was rigged, all these actual politicians were actually coming out and talking about it, and all these companies, Disney, Amazon, Walmart, they all came out and said, we're not going to give any politician money that goes along with stop the steal. So basically what they're saying is you either do what we want you to do and say what we want you to say, or else we're going to cut you off from the money. And they got their minds right real fast, didn't they? So maybe if we own some stocks and, you know, played on the same field as that, you know, as them on you know, on Wall Street, might be a good way to get them to listen. Oh yeah, I mean, because I mean, a lot of these legislators own stock, which comes back around to Joe Manchin, whose daughter uh, owns. You know, she's the oh god, she's the awful person that raised the price of EpiPens through the roof. She's the one that did that, and her dad's a senator that blocks Medicare for all. Right? He blocks people getting health care. He kills people so his daughter can make a buck. And he owns stocks. Now, I'm not sure exactly what stocks he owns. I mean, but he's getting his family rich off of people dying. So, and it all comes back to the stock markets yet again. So, if anybody knows of any resource where, like, just for beginners to like learn about the stock market, because a lot of this stuff is like it's way over my head. It's just going to take a while for me to learn it. So, let me see what chat's saying. Yeah, Ameritrade has. Michael said Ameritrade hasn't screwed him so far. Thankfully, that's good. Yeah, time for 100% billionaire wealth tax. I'm for it. Jeremy V. I bought GameStop stock earlier, but got out because I figured that it was so much manipulation going on that I don't trust the system. They could literally bottom it out. Yeah, I mean, it's not a true gauge of like what is actually going on. It's all about, people. It sounds like a big game of poker. People bluffing on what they have and what it's worth, and and who gets the pot at the end. I've got AMC stock just to mess with it. So what's AMC? Yeah, I've heard that mentioned a lot, but I don't know what AMC stock is. You want to corrupt our government at Wall Street. In the long run, GameStop will go back to low price, yeah, but the hedge fund billionaires will be eating rotten hamburgers out of dumpsters before it does. Oh, gosh. I would, please, if somebody sees that, please send me a picture of it because I would love to see that. Yeah. Okay, Michael said poker's a very good analogy. Now, I just learned how to play poker maybe like a year ago. Jimmy taught me, so I'm still learning about that too. But it doesn't necessarily, from what I take away from it, is like it doesn't matter how much it's worth. It's how much you can convince, the other player how much you have. So, oh, the movie theater, huh? Yeah. Yeah, that's enough. I mean, this, once I learn more about this, I'd love to go back in and see like how this pandemic has affected the stock markets, because I know a lot of people have gotten rich off of this. Jeff Bezos, he's worth more now than he ever has. I mean, he could give out, a few months ago, I read that he could give out $100,000 to each one of his millions of employees, and he could still be just as rich as he was before all this happened. So, yeah, and that was a few months ago. That was before Christmas. So, yeah, he's even richer now. I think he's poised to be our first trillionaire. Yay. Let's see. Yeah, it should have been illegal to short the stocks as far as the hedge fund did over and over. Yeah, they keep doing it, and that's what happened with the housing crisis. And and then here comes our government to bail them out, right? Meanwhile, they didn't bail us out. They didn't pay off their mortgages. Instead, they rewarded the people that put those people in that position in the first place. Nobody went to jail. Nobody got in trouble. They might have, gotten a stern talking to from Elizabeth Warren, but that's about it. And speaking of Elizabeth Warren, I did a video back in 2017 where TYT interviewed Elizabeth Warren, and they asked her about Joe Manchin, and she said, well, I want to make a passionate, speech for him. She wanted to take up for him. She said, despite our philosophical differences, she thinks that the difference between her and Joe Manchin, or a Democrat and regular Democrat supposedly, and Joe Manchin, is a philosophical difference. Now, Joe Manchin is the same person that told Paula Jean back before she ever had any aspirations of running, she was just an activist, told her that we had to pick between clean water and jobs. That's what he told her. because she was there fighting for clean water because everybody was getting cancer and getting sick and getting poisoned from the coal mines dumping their poison in our water. And he said, well, oh, so you just don't want these people to have jobs then, huh? So why is it that we have to choose that? Now, Elizabeth Warren takes up for it. Now, at the time, she was taking up for Joe Manchin, but at the same time, she was also advocating for the people of Flint. So, which one is it? Which one is it? Is it bad to poison people's water? Or is it just bad when a Republican does it? And that says everything about, the people that are in office, right? I mean, it's same thing with AOC. She wants to sit there and oh, I was afraid for my life. I was afraid for my life because these, Republicans, these Trumpers came into the Capitol. Well, she doesn't want to stand up to Nancy Pelosi when it comes to healthcare. She wants to sit there and be a keyboard warrior on Twitter and say all these nice, pretty things on Twitter. And yet at, she's not willing to do the work or fight for it. She turns around and lets people die every day because of a lack of healthcare and access to healthcare. Uh, Even though she ran on that platform of Medicare for all. No, she sits there and she'll deny that to everybody. We fear for our lives when they're shutting down businesses. We can't work. We're not making a living wage. We have no health care. People, there's mass amounts of poverty and homelessness now, even though Walmart's still open. They don't care about those people that are getting sick and dying. My brother-in-law almost died because he kept being turned away from a hospital because of, they had to keep beds open for corona patients, and he almost died because of that. It's sick. They don't care, and it's not about our health. It's not about our safety, and they want to sit there and fear for their own lives and fear for their own stock values. While meanwhile, they don't care to sacrifice us and throw us under the bus. It's infuriating. It's such a double standard. There's so many double standards, especially in the past year, that have been exposed when it comes to all the politicians, when it comes to the coronavirus, when you see this, what's happening now with GameStop, when it comes to healthcare, AOC and healthcare, the squad. They're all full of shit. Not a single one of them. They're there to advance their career. And who was it? Somebody said earlier, AOC is what was it? Advanced careerist. That's what it stood for. It was funny. Anyway, Jeremy V was identical to SEC. Could prosecute that. I'm checking him in chat. Do you think they are trying to drop the price back long enough to buy the shares back at a lower price again? Not sure how that would work out. Yeah, Adrian. Yeah, I guess I'm stating the obvious. Yes, politicians lie, but I feel like in the past year, it's been just really right in our faces. And I just don't understand how there's still people out there that are part of these fan cults that worship these politicians, right? I mean, there's still people out there that are, hardcore Bernie supporters or AOC supporters, and it's a fandom cult. That's all it is. And it's crazy because you would not have that standard. A DMV, a person that works at the DMV, the clerk at DMV, right? She works for the government, or he works for the government, right? Would you have a bumper sticker with their name on it? Would you have, I don't know, T-shirts with their name on it? Are you making memes about the person that works at the DMV? No. So why do we do this for these politicians, right? It's a cult. Party politics, it's all about a cult. If you look up the signs of a cult, it fits it to a T. And capitalism is no different. It's the same thing. It's a cult of money, of exploiting people and gaining money. And, you can't criticize it because that's rule number one of the cult. If you criticize it, then you're shunned. Nobody's allowed to talk to you anymore. Yeah, see. Yes, advanced opportunistic careerist. That's what it was. Thank you. Dan Guest, just. always obfuscating constituents. That's a good one. Shadow ban refugees. Basically, the hedge funds all got together under one banner, went all in on a bigger short, then manipulated the market to make it look like there was a sell-off at exactly the moment already limited by. Yeah. Yeah, I like Bill Benny. Yeah, I've seen him on Jimmy Dore and I think Susie Dawson. Oh, Dan, no, I'm not saying that QAnon isn't a cult, but there's multiple cults out there that people are in, and QAnon definitely is one of them, for sure. I mean, let's take the Democratic Party for example. You cannot express concern or say, hey, I don't agree with that. You cannot dissent from what they do or question what they do or point out their wrongdoing without being shunned and called a Trumper. Like every time you're like, look, I don't like Trump, but I also don't like what Joe Manchin's doing. Oh, well, you're a Republican, aren't you? You're just you're one of those QAnon people. No, I'm not. I just don't. I mean, I don't see the difference from what they're doing and what the Republicans are doing. I don't see the difference at all between what the government does and what the corporations do, which they're one and the same because they own the stocks. And what do they do after they get out of office? They go and make speeches for them and go and work for them. Or they came from that sector. They came from the sector and go into government, or they go, leave government and go into the private sector. Or sometimes there's the middleman of media, which is what Andrew Yang is doing. But either way, it's all the same people that own the stocks, that make the rules, that sell the propaganda. And they put on this WWE wrestling show it's Republican versus Democrat, and we're expected to believe it. And if you say, hey, this stuff is all fake, then you're the crazy person, right? Like you're crazy. And they're all using this to gain their own power. Whether it's by taking money away from us or taking rights away from us, that is exactly what this, pandemic is about. Are people getting sick? Yes, but not at the rate that they are making us afraid of. And they're using this as an excuse to keep us at home, take away our rights, to make us, fear and hate each other. The corporations are using it to make money. The politicians are using it to take away rights and make money. But either way, they're taking from us. And I get it that a lot of people don't want to talk about it because, especially when you see people on the left, they don't, of course, you don't want to see people get hurt. You don't want to see people get sick. You want to care for other people. You want to be, empathetic towards others that, are in that position where they could easily, get sick or whatever. But, they're exploiting that good nature in us to make us, turn on each other about like, hey, I have a question. Why is it that Nancy Pelosi, in the same breath that she's defending herself getting a haircut while maskless, is telling us to also be afraid of this deadly virus? That Gavin Newsom does the same thing, having dinner parties, and that my governor here, Jim Justice, he's going and having thousands of people over for a New Year's Eve party, maskless. But at the same time, he's telling us that I have to walk into a business. Anytime I walk out, I have to wear a mask. And, I'm not allowed to, go bowling with people or have a group get together because, Corona. How does any of this make sense? It doesn't add up. And while our small businesses are being shut down, the people on Wall Street are making bank. Walmart, Amazon, Bill Gates, all these, healthcare insurance companies making bank off of us. And what do we have? You have essential employees going in who don't have healthcare, that are working themselves. Their immune system is compromised because they are so overworked and stressed out from being underpaid that they are susceptible to illnesses more than we are, and they are denied health care, and they can't even afford to take a day off. And well, praise our heroes, but at the same time, these corporations will spend thousands of dollars to advertise how they care about their heroes. Meanwhile, they could have spent that money actually caring for them. Because it's not about it. It's all about the optics and keeping you, locked into this, system of just do what we say. Don't question it. And if you do, these people will come out and they'll cancel you, or they'll, shun you from society. You will not allowed to be on social media or have friends or be able to communicate with people, because God knows you can't go out and have friends. They'll cut you out from your friends and family online because, you question things. I mean, it's just a question. Why is that? Why is it that these politicians aren't worried about getting sick? Why is it that, okay, so you can't get coronavirus at Walmart, but if you go to the library, you'll get it, right? You can go, out to a gas station or, like I said, Walmart, Target, all these different places, corporations, you can go there. Also, they have curfews set up, oh, we're going to have to shut down early because of coronavirus. Why? Because coronavirus only comes out at night. It doesn't make any sense, so, and we're all just supposed to go along with this narrative. We're all supposed to go along with their rules. And here's the real truth of it is they are terrified right now, because you are seeing people reach out across the aisle, within the citizen group, and to work with other people. We're talking to each other. That's why you see censorship. They're terrified. Now we're on Wall Street, taking away their earnings, supposedly their earnings. So we're screwing things up for them financially. We're making a ruckus. There are people out there, and they're not reporting this at all on mainstream media. If they do, they'll make it sound like a crazy, loony, minority of the population, but that is not the truth. The truth is most people are fed up with this. Everybody I would say 99% of the people in America has one complaint, at least one major complaint with the way things are being done. Whether it's, the pandemic stuff, or, even if you believe all that stuff, you still know your government's corrupt. You still know the media is corrupt. You still know that people are getting screwed and they win. So let's start with that most of all, we agree that we're all being shafted right now. Yeah, health insurance cartels. Yeah, these are we're a nation run by cartels. The name of the game is to change the maximum the market can bear on rent hikes up 2,000 a month. Price gouging laws would be implemented, obviously. Yeah, and here's the thing: if they're going to crack down on the stock markets, because this might be a good way, because we have been asking and demanding regulation for a long time now, and so this might be a good way to actually get them to do it. Because we might get regulation just for the fact of they want to keep us out of it. So who knows? Hopefully that's the way it'll work out. Yeah, they're panicking. You see them. They are shutting down free speech. Left, right, doesn't matter. If you don't go specifically along with the narrative, you get the Alex Jones treatment. They'll take you off of YouTube. They'll take you off of Twitter, Facebook. They silenced a president. And now you have the more big tech companies coming in and telling you when and what you can trade on the stock market. They'll swoop in to protect each other. They all have their own, plans, for domination and stealing from us. But one thing that they agree on is when they see us coming for them, they'll band together real fast. So So that's why all my videos are demonetized, because it gives me, I don't think it's going to last forever, but at least for now, it allows me to fly under the radar on YouTube for a little bit until I can get set up on like Rockfin and, other places. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is, uh, they're scared. I see this as a good sign. When they're lashing out at us like this, they're freaking out. Nothing scares them more. And basically this is what happened back, during, Martin Luther King Jr. It was all fine and good when he was sitting there and talking about racial equality, but then he started the Poor People's March. He started talking about the evils of capitalism, and they, assassinated him real quick. So, and now you see the same thing. People reaching out together, and talking about the economics of it, the economics of oppression and, racism and bigotry. That doesn't happen in a, test tube. This is it's a formula, right? Take some poverty, sprinkle in a lack of education and a little bit of isolation, and there you go. You got yourself a racist. And especially when, online you can go in and, just hang out with your own group and you never get questioned, right? Does anybody remember back when Twitter had ISIS accounts up, supposedly, right? And they left those up for a while. So, but the president that's, saying, hey, go home in peace, they'll take him down. So what's that about? Just saying, some stuff to think about. Oh, Jilly Love's here. Economic tyranny by ecocidal terrorists. Yeah, and I guarantee you, if the common people keep making problems for people on Wall Street, I guarantee you it's just a matter of time before we get labeled economic terrorists. Right? We've got domestic terrorists. You've got ecological, which is the people that care about the environment. Those environmental terrorists, and now you've got economic terrorism, which they did when the BDS movement, boycott, divest, and strike movement was gaining traction. What happened? They were trying to pass a law to make it illegal to boycott Israeli products or hurt Israel in any way financially by boycotting them. And they labeled it under economic terrorism. So it's just a matter of time, because I've seen a lot of comments about, yeah, eat the rich and screw them, take all their money. That's what they get. And, they're not wrong. But at the same time, that's exactly what they're going to cite and call them economic terrorists. And I think that's what they called the people at DAPL, the protesters, the water protectors at DAPL. I'm pretty sure they called them economic terrorists too, because they were, cutting off profits or hurting the profits of, fossil fuel industry. But it's not terrorism when they use it, right? It's not terrorism when they literally kill people so their stock prices will go up a few cents. No, that's not economic terrorism. That's not domestic terrorism when cops are going around killing people in the streets. But it is, when we sit there and say, you know what, we're not going to take it anymore. That's terrorism. All right. So I'm going to get off of here because Shanda over on the Accidental Activist channel, she's going to be going live with Fee from the Combo Couch. And I'm so excited. I love Fee. She's so smart and just so on point with everything. And she's going to be over there talking with Shanda. And they'll probably be on maybe an hour or so. And then once they're done, so probably about 11 p.m. Eastern time, that's when I'm going to come back on with James for Monotalk, and we're going to have our own discussion. So this was just a quick vent to just get all this, because I've been like glued to like researching and trying to understand all this stuff. And yeah, so that was my quick rant to just kind of get all that out. But we'll get into some specifics later on tonight over on Monotalk's channel. So I'm gonna go ahead and close up. I just wanted to say thank you for everybody for being here and watching. Oh, Michael, it's the accidental activist. Yeah. So that's going to be a great conversation. It's always good when Fee's on. Shada's great as well. She's over there on Roar Media. That they've kind of adopted me over there. I've been doing videos with them, and yeah, they've been super helpful. So definitely support them in what they're doing, because they're just trying to lift voices up. They're trying to lift up the platforms of, women, people of color, rural areas. So they're doing a great job over there. So anyway, I'm going to head over there. Thank you all for being here, and I will catch you guys later.